Okay, so now that we know about if and else and nesting and all of that stuff and the conditional operators, let's apply this to some graphical context here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get my world into our math and logic project here. So I'm going to go into my intro to programming project. I'm going to right click and copy my world, and then go into my math and logic default package, right click and paste, and that should drop my world into that project. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new class called left and right world. Okay, and that's going to be have my world as its superclass and have a main method, and then we'll finish that. Okay, so just to tidy things up here, we're going to get rid of some comments. Inside the main method, we want to say that this is a new left and right world. Okay, and just to review, when we run this, okay, it's going to go to the main method. It's going to run new left and right world, and because it's a my world program, it pops up with this frame right away. Okay. So let's just go ahead and change some stuff about this. So the first thing I'm going to do is inside of the class, I'm going to create two variables, x and y, that are both ints. And then inside of the draw method, I'm going to go ahead and set the color to blue, and then do g.fill oval, and the oval is going to be filled at x and y with a width of 25 and a height of 25. And when I run that guy, I get that. Okay, so that's my blue oval. X is 0, y is 0 because I didn't give them a value here. So this thing is drawn at the 0, 0 mark, which is like right there, and it's 25 in width, 25 in height. Okay, so what I would like to do is have this thing move around with the mouse. So to do that, I got to have a public void mouse moved method. Every mouse event method needs a mouse event parameter in here, and mouse event will have to be imported. So I'm going to go ahead and import mouse event. Okay, so that adds this line of code up here to import java.awt.event.mouse event. And then down here, what I'm going to do is put the instructions that should happen when the mouse is moved. So we're going to say I want to change x to be the mouse's x. So I do that by doing mouse.getX. Change y to be the mouse's y. And then repaint. Okay. So what we're saying here is, and I'm just going to close this so that that's not so distracting. When the mouse is moved, change x and y to the mouse's x and y position. Position. Okay, there we go. Repaint means clear the frame and draw again. Okay, so now when I run this, now that thing is moving around, and every time I move the mouse, I'm getting a new x and y position from the mouse, and then I'm repainting, which clears what used to be on there and then puts back on there the new position of the oval. Okay, so now let's talk about making some decisions up here in draw. Okay, so let's just say, for example, that on the left side, we want this thing to be blue. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say if x is less than or equal to 250, then g.setColor blue. Okay, so if this is true, then the color will be blue. Let's go ahead and run this again. And if I pull this down here, so you can see that I'm over here on the left side of 250. My x value is less than 250, and if I cross over where x is 250, then the ball becomes black. All right, so what's happening there is black is the default color for all of my graphics. So if this instruction doesn't happen, then graphics is automatically black. Is that making sense so far? If I want to change that and say if it's not less than 250, then I would use an else. And in that case, maybe I would do something like g.setColor red. Okay, you can use whatever colors you want there, but I'm just going to use blue and red. Okay, so we have x less than or equal to 250 all the way around in here. Once I cross over x equal 250, now the color turns to red, but I still am doing this g.fill oval, so no matter where I go, I'm filling an oval at x and y. Is this making sense so far? Okay? Okay, so now let's say that I wanted to change that up a little bit again. So let's go ahead and say, well, what I really want to do is I want to make a blue rectangle when x is less than 250, and I want to make a red oval when x is not less than or equal to 250. So I'm going to go in here and notice that when I put in brackets there, that it's the bracket that closes that is right there. So whatever instructions I put in here are going to happen when x is less than or equal to 250. So we're going to go g.fillRect, okay, x, y, and again 25, 25. All right, and now what I should get, okay, so let's just kind of look at this. Now over here on the right, I get my red oval, and on the left, I get a blue square, okay? But I want you to pay close attention to what that square looks like. Can you guys see that there's a little bit of a blur to the right of the square and a little bit of a blur to the bottom of the square? Okay? So that blur right there, and I can't point to it because it just moves with my mouse, but that blur right there is actually this oval. All right? So you got to pay attention here. So when x is less than or equal to 250, we're going to do this stuff. Set the color to blue and fill a rect. If x wasn't less than 250, the only thing that we're doing is setting the color to red. But because I didn't include this and this in brackets, this is always happening. Are you guys following that idea? So going back to this, okay, we're not only filling a rectangle, but we're also filling an oval, because the fill oval is not a part of the else. Okay? So if I want it to be part of the else, I go up here, put in a bracket, hit return. It automatically includes this instruction inside of that bracket. And then I can slide this guy up there to be the second instruction that goes inside of the else. Okay? So this is like saying mouse is on the left, and this is pretty much saying mouse is on the right. Okay? So on the left we're going to get a blue filled rectangle, on the right we're going to get a red filled oval. And if I run that again, now I've changed that so that the brackets are included. Now if you look at that rectangle, we don't have that little blur on the right or the left, so the oval is not being filled. Okay? Until I move over here, now we get my oval. You guys following that? Alright, so then let's also include the idea of nesting an if decision inside of there. Okay? So let's say that I want, if I'm on the left and on the top of the left, I want a filled in rectangle, but if I'm on the bottom and the left, then I want just a drawn rectangle. Okay? So now I'm going to add a nested if inside of here and say if, well, which variable is going to let me know that I'm on the top? X or Y? Y. Okay? So if Y is less than or equal to 250, then we're going to go ahead and do g.fillRect. Okay? Else, let's do g.drawRect. X, Y, 25, 25. Okay, so again, when X is less than or equal to 250, we're going to be blue. If Y is less than or equal to 250, we're going to fill erect. In all other cases, in other words, when Y is greater than 250, we're going to draw rect. Okay, so that's what this looks like. So now we have the fill rect in the left top, still on the left, but now my Y value is not less than or equal to 250, so I'm down here, and now I'm drawing rect. Okay? Now we didn't do those sorts of things for this else here. This else is saying X is greater than 250, so that is just a red oval all the way around. There's no decision inside of there to change that between filled or drawn. Okay? Just to format this a little bit differently here, guys, I'm just going to hit return, and automatically it goes underneath there. Hit return, and automatically goes underneath there. And I just want to put in a little bit of comment here to say mouse is on left and on top. Here we're saying mouse is on left and on bottom. Is that making sense for everybody? All right, so what I would like you to do then is try to make a program that does this. So you're going to call it quadrant color or quadrant color world. Okay, make it so that you have the two lines in there. Okay, and make it so that it's blue up here, green over here, red down here, magenta down here. Make sense? Okay, pretty similar to what we've been doing, just a little bit different. Yep.